Hey, I'm Nate Fosaaen. I'm a professional archaeologist currently excavating in northern Texas, and I specialize in the archaeology of North America prior to its colonization by Europeans. This has been my primary field of work and study for over 10 years, especially in the region that we call the Eastern Woodlands, and I'll be drawing on this experience as I make these videos. Today I want you to imagine what the indigenous peoples of North America's lives would have been like if they hadn't had bows and arrows. How could they possibly hunt or defend themselves without these seemingly essential tools? Growing up, most media depicted Native American people as so closely associated with the bow and arrow that one was almost a synonym for the other. So when I was 19 and enrolled in my first archaeology class, I was shocked to find out for the vast majority of the time people lived in North America, the bow and arrow simply did not exist. In the Eastern Woodlands, archery wasn't invented, or more likely introduced, until the late Woodland period, or possibly slightly earlier in the Middle Woodland. But estimates place the innovation somewhere in the ballpark of 1500 to 1200 years ago. North America was first settled sometime before 16,000 years ago, as I've discussed in my first Americans video. So that last 1,000 years before colonization is really a tiny fraction of that time. So most of the time people are here, the bow and arrow does not exist. This absence is supported both archaeologically and also linguistically, so no related vocabulary exists for archery-related ideas between the Cherokee language and the other Iroquoian languages, for instance. As I've discussed in a previous video, that split appears to have occurred sometime during the late Archaic period, so 4,000, 5,000 years ago. Before that, the primary long-range weapons used in North America were the spear and, more prominently, the atlatl dart. The word atlatl comes from the Aztec and is a very sophisticated piece of equipment, but essentially it's a long handle with a hook on the end, and a very thin spear called a dart is hooked into that back notch, and the combination works as a lever to significantly increase the force and distance that a person can throw a spear compared to what we can do without an atlatl. So this, of course, means that the things that people casually call arrowheads were never attached to arrows in the first place. They were the business end of throwing spears used in conjunction with atlatls. If you've got any questions about this or anything else related to North American archaeology, please leave those in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.